Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chuck Hüber. Welcome to Dr. Stein's Electric Universe. I really just stick Dr. Stein at the front of that as an excuse to say, I'm going to teach you some magic science. But before I teach you magic science, I have to show you my awesome glasses. Those are awesome, right? I don't need them anymore. I can see you just fine. So, this is my Electric Universe panel where I'm going to blow your mind and you're going to be like, what? The world is different than I thought it was. And the other thing you're going to do is each one of you is going to walk out of here able to use a superpower that you did not know you had, although everyone already knows that you have this superpower. A legit, totally legit superpower that humans have that we've ignored and we pretend don't exist, that doesn't exist anymore. So you're going to walk out of here with a ninja superpower. But before I start, because this is my very, 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 very first panel, and you guys might have burning anime questions, I thought I would allow you maybe 5 or 10 minutes to ask anime questions, and then we'll go into Electric Universe stuff. Does that sound like a plan? Are you guys excited? Yeah. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
Sorry. Hello, Hiei. Hiei just waved to me. So, are there any burning anime questions that you must ask right now? Yes?
Do you prefer voice acting as Stein or Austria?
Oh my goodness, that is so hard to decide. I would have to say Austria-Stein. Oh, what if I did Stein lines as Austria? Oh, I'm going to dissect you. That's twisty. Any other questions? All right, good. So we'll ask anime. I got an anime Q&A tomorrow, so you guys can come to that one and ask all your burning anime questions. When I say burning questions, I mean like, I'm on fire! How do I stop it? That'd be a burning question, right? So look, I always wanted to be alive during one of those times when like a scientist came up with a discovery and was like, hey, guess what? The Earth, it's not a flat piece of land on the back of a turtle. It's really a ball in space, floating. And people were like, what? That's crazy. Or like, my favorite example is like, there was once upon a time a guy who was like, really guys, there's like totally microscopic things living on your hands, and if you don't wash them before surgery, you can make people sick. Like, you should totally wash your hands to wipe the invisible microscopic people off your hands. And people to leave that much of a crater, that's what they say, planetary geologists say happened to Mars, by the way, because Mars, northern hemisphere, the crust is 4 kilometers thinner than the southern hemisphere. They say, well, a giant rock came in and hit it and knocked the top half off of Mars. But once again, you can see the 5 vet clinics said, yes, we have trouble keeping appointments with our cats. And the 65th clinic said, we don't give cats appointments because they never show up. You know? And he's done these double-blind studies, and you can go online and look at them, where he videos the owner and videos the dog at the same time. And the owner has no idea where or when or how or why or by what means they're going to come home. They just at some random point in the day get a note that says, time to ride this unicycle home. You're like, I can't ride a unicycle. They try to get, whatever. They take a cab, a friend picks them up, they take the bus, the train, whatever. So they come from a different way every time. And the dogs who know when their owners are coming home, as soon as the owner has the intention, the idea that, hey, I'm going to go home, the dog goes to the I'm waiting for my owner place. And I just had this experience with my dog the other day. My dog escaped. My dog is not neutered yet. I'm planning on breeding him at some point. He's an amazing border collie. And he got out, and I got him back. and I got him back, and I was like, oh God, I've got to get this dog neutered tomorrow, because he kept trying to run away. Well, then he discovered how to dig under the fence the next day, because I think he knew I was going to right? So I couldn't find the dog, and I was so sad that he was gone. And so then I decided, I was like, you know what? He doesn't have to be neutered yet. I'm going to breed him once with some other dog, and then we'll have him neutered, maybe in 2 or 3 years. And as soon as I had that thought, and he was in the neighbor's backyard. He wasn't even in my backyard. He had somehow gotten out under a fence and then come back through the neighbor's backyard. So we have this powered hotel where the swimming pool was, and there was like a balcony like this, and way over there was a guy like walking from the front lobby all the way to his like, it was like a bus. He was obviously loading up like a bunch of, he was like the coach, and it was a volleyball team or something. And so he's just going back and forth to this man. And all I had to do was just lean back, and I'd disappear from his sight, and I could lean forward and stare at him. And so I'd stare at him walking to this man, and he would go like this, pushing, and he'd go. And I made him turn around 7 times. And I wanted to go, it's me, dude, it's me. And I thought that would have been even creepier. The first time I made him turn around, because this was the magical moment for me. This was why I started the smile game. Because I said, oh, let me try this. And so I did. And by the time I made him turn, because the first time I was like, oh, that was just luck. Second time I was like, oh, this is getting freaky. Third time I was like, I am a magical, powerful being on the rooftop of the Ramada. So I felt like Thor, or, you know, I felt like I suddenly, because he was far away. And he could feel it. So that's knowledge for you, especially if you're walking alone anywhere and you're like, suddenly you get the tingly feeling. Take that as a real sign. Take that as like, oh, maybe there's some creepy dude around the corner. I'm going to walk like I'm a bad mamma jamma. And I'm going to look around, because guess what? People don't like you if you're going to send that eye energy back to them. So, you know, if they're bad, if they have bad intentions. If they have good intentions, well, you can try it out here at the convention and be like, so what I did was I took this power, because I thought, okay, so we all have sort of a radar we send out with our eyes all the time. It connects us, it allows crowds. It's the same reason, like, they say birds that flock together, that they do that, by sensing where the bird's going next. Really? Do you really believe that's how they do it? No, they're all operating in the same morphic field, shifting directions at exactly the same time. We do that in crowds, too. Because if you've ever been to the giant Comic-Cons, and you go to the dealer's hall in the giant Comic-Cons, and it's like a bunch of like 2.5-year-olds everywhere, because they're like, it's shiny, stop everywhere. You know, everybody's kind of just moving around in sort of just a very random fashion. And if you're ever trying to get from here to way over there in one of those Comic-Cons, it looks like this. You know, it's like a little dance you have to do to try to get outside. If you're just milling and seething like everybody else, oh, stop, oh, shiny, then you're like everybody else. So what I did was I theorized that if I directed my eyes to the path I wanted to go, that these people would feel it, and that I could drive myself through that quicker than anybody else, and that they would kind of give way to me. Guess what they do? I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was like, one artist friend of mine, I was like, try to follow me. And he's like, okay, we're both going to the same place to get a hot dog or whatever, and I went, I can practically run through a crowd. The only reason I don't run through the crowds anymore is because the only people who screw up my eye radar are little 2-year-olds. I don't want to crush them. I mean, I do. No, some of them do. No, they don't. They're just 2. But I think the reason they screw up my eye radar is because I'm looking up towards these people, and then suddenly there's a quarter of a human down there. And my radar's been going way over the top. There's another morphic field effect that I believe is really true. How many of you, when you were little, the first time you spent the night away from home became homesick? Okay, now when I got homesick, I had adults in the room going, "You're fine. It's just that, you know," they pretend it's something that you're just thinking. Like, "Oh, I'm thinking it and I'm sad." But when I was homesick, they don't call it homesick because it's like, "Oh, he's a little sad that he's not at home." They call it homesick because it's a deep, really real feeling that you feel. You feel disconnected from something. And my theory is that the first time you feel homesickness is the first time you're connecting to your family's morphic field through like an external server, for lack of a better term. So like your family creates a Wi-Fi net around yourself. That's why you all share the same sort of experience and feeling. That's why we, at an anime convention, it feels so good, because everybody joins the same morphic field. And I'll tell you this, morphic fields for anime are all over the world. You guys are exactly the same in Poland, Australia, Dublin. Everywhere I go, the anime crowd, we're all the same. And the best morphic field, so my theory is that the first time you spend the night